This morning you pressed a pedal and traveled 40 miles without breaking a sweat. 100,000 years ago, that same journey would have eaten 2 full days, walking barefoot through terrain that had no name and no mercy, no trail, no marker, nothing telling you what waited ahead. For almost the entire span of human existence, getting somewhere meant suffering for it, and the only thing carrying you was your own body. Today you can cross an ocean in an afternoon. Movement has become so frictionless we barely notice it, but for 300,000 years, every single journey happened at the same speed, walking speed. And that one constraint shaped everything. What we ate, who we knew, who we loved, and how much of the world we ever got to see. Humans are not fast. A horse can sustain 30 miles an hour. A cheetah hits 70. You peak at maybe 15 briefly before your lungs give out. Speed was never what we were built for. Endurance was. You can walk 20 miles today, sleep, and do it again tomorrow. And the week after. No other large animal on Earth can maintain that kind of sustained movement across days and weeks. Your foot arches act as natural springs. Your Achilles tendon loads and releases energy with every stride so your muscles don't carry the full cost of each step. A ligament at the back of your skull keeps your head level while your body moves beneath it. And you have roughly 2 million sweat glands dumping heat while every other large mammal on the savannah has to stop and pant. You weren't designed to outrun anything, you were designed to outlast everything. In Tanzania, in a layer of volcanic ash, there are footprints pressed into the earth 3.6 million years ago. 2 individuals walking upright side by side. The oldest direct evidence of bipedal walking ever found. And they look almost exactly like yours. That was our only transportation technology for millions of years. Somehow, it was enough. Beginning around 70,000 years ago, humans started leaving Africa, not in one dramatic march over thousands of years, in small groups, generation by generation, each pushing further into territory no human had entered before. They crossed into the Middle East, spread across Asia, reached Europe, walked into Siberia, crossed the land bridge into Alaska, and kept moving south, all the way to the tip of South America. Roughly 15,000 miles toward destinations they didn't know existed. What gets overlooked is that this wasn't aimless wandering. Archaeologists have found stone tools made from volcanic rock hundreds of miles from the nearest source, inland graves containing ocean shells, amber traded across entire mountain ranges. These people were moving with purpose, trading, connecting, seeking out specific materials someone had described to them. This was networking on foot, a supply chain built entirely from human legs. Walking works right up until it doesn't. A river, a real one, deep and wide, was a wall. For hundreds of thousands of years, a body of water was a hard limit. You found a shallow crossing or you turned back. Then someone figured out something no land animal had ever figured out: how to cross water on purpose. In 2003, archaeologists on the island of Flores in Indonesia found stone tools dating back roughly 800,000 years. The problem? Flores has never been connected to the mainland. Even at the lowest ice age sea levels, there was always at least 12 miles of open ocean between that island and the nearest land. Someone crossed it. We don't know how. Wood rots, reeds decompose, but the tools are there, which means the crossing happened. The first watercraft was probably accidental. Someone grabs a floating log, doesn't drown. That's the discovery. But what came after was deliberate. Around 65,000 years ago, humans crossed from Southeast Asia to Australia, a minimum of 60 miles of open ocean. You cannot see Australia from the other side. You cannot drift there by accident. Someone built something capable of carrying people, pointed it toward water they couldn't see across, and paddled into the unknown. Starting around 3,000 years ago, the Polynesian peoples crossed the Pacific, the largest body of water on Earth, in double-hulled canoes loaded with food, animals, tools, and entire families. No compass, no map. They read the angle of stars, the rhythm of ocean swells, the flight patterns of seabirds, and the color of clouds near coastlines. Their navigation was so precise that modern oceanographers have spent decades trying to fully reconstruct it. They reached Hawaii, Easter Island, New Zealand, every habitable island in the Pacific, some voyages covering more than 2,500 miles with nothing visible between departure and destination. Walking conquered land, boats conquered water, but there was still a problem nobody had solved. You can walk 20 miles in a day, but you cannot walk 20 miles carrying 200 pounds of meat. For most of human history, the real limit on movement wasn't distance, it was weight. A human body can handle maybe 40 to 60 pounds before it starts breaking down. Everything beyond that simply couldn't move. So humans cheated. First by dragging a carcass onto a hide, pulled behind. Then someone improved on it. 2 long poles tied in a V shape, a platform slung between them. The travois. Simple, effective, capable of moving well over 100 pounds. We know it's ancient not because anyone found one, wood and leather don't survive, but because indigenous peoples across North America were still using it when Europeans arrived, with no contact between cultures to explain it. The travois moved more weight, but we needed something bigger to pull it. Around 15,000 years ago, humans formed the first interspecies working partnership, the dog. In Arctic regions, dog teams pulled sleds across ice and snow. A team of 6 could move an entire camp, but we needed something bigger. About 5,500 years ago, on the steppes of what is now Kazakhstan, a people called the Botai did something unprecedented. Archaeologists found horse horse teeth with wear patterns from bits. They found traces of mare's milk in pottery. These weren't hunters of horses. They rode them, milked them, and built their lives around them. And the horse didn't just change transportation, it collapsed time. For 300,000 years, the fastest a human could travel was 4 miles per hour. On horseback, you could move at 30. In a single generation, the effective size of the world shrank by a factor of 8. Distances that took weeks now took days. And conflict changed completely. A mounted force could reach you before you knew it was coming. Across different environments, humans found different partners. Donkeys through deserts, camels across the Sahara, reindeer through Arctic winters, llamas over the Andes. In every landscape, humans found whatever animal fit and put it to work. There's something that seems wrong until you think about it. Humans crossed every ocean on Earth before anyone invented the wheel. The oldest confirmed wheel was found in Slovenia, approximately 5,200 years old. Boats go back at least 10,000 years. Horses were domesticated 5,500 years ago. Humans reached Australia 65,000 years before any of that. The wheel wasn't the beginning of transportation technology, it was nearly the end of the first chapter, and it didn't even start as transportation. The earliest wheels were potter's wheels, spinning discs for shaping clay. At some point, someone turned one on its side and asked, what if something rode on top of this? Early wheeled vehicles were slow. Solid wood wheels cracked on rough terrain and sank in mud. A person on horseback was faster than a cart, but around 2000 BCE, the spoked wheel appeared. Lighter, stronger, far faster. Now you had chariots, speed and cargo together. Roads followed. Once wheels, roads, and horses were working as a system, trade exploded. Empires became logistically possible. The wheel, the horse, the road, that combination built every civilization you've ever studied. For 300,000 years, humans had nothing but their legs, and they used them to walk across the entire planet. They hit water and learned to float. They needed to move more weight and learn to drag, then build frames, then partner with animals. They tamed the horse, and the world shrank overnight. They invented the wheel, and it shrank again. Every breakthrough took thousands of years. Everyone was built on top of the last. Now you sit in a climate-controlled capsule doing 70 miles an hour and call it a commute. You cross an ocean in 6 hours and get annoyed the in-flight entertainment is buffering. You summon a car in 4 minutes and feel inconvenienced if it takes 5. Your ancestors walked barefoot across 15,000 miles of unmapped terrain toward places they had no proof existed. They solved the problem of distance so completely that you and I have forgotten it was ever a problem at all. Every highway, every runway, every rail line on this planet traces back to a moment when someone looked at a horizon they'd never reached and started walking anyway. They didn't know what was out there. They went anyway. That's the most human thing there is.